Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Meridy here, and I am here with our second process video using the Powerhouse Limitless Kit and Essentials Kit. So I've pulled a few pieces out of my kits and I am ready to work on this layout, and I'm going to show you what I've got going on here. First of all, I am going to use this month's sketch of the month to make this layout. So I'm going to follow this sketch, but I do not have the same 4 square pictures. So I'm just gonna make it work with the pictures that I do have. And the pictures that I have are 3 pictures from inside of Space Mountain. So it's kind of probably hard for you to see these pictures on the camera because they're just very, you can't really tell what it is, but it is inside of Space Mountain. And I thought that was cool that we were on the People Mover when it was going through Space Mountain in Disney World, and they were doing construction on the inside, so we got to see what it looked like, which I've never seen before. So there's those 3 pictures that are actually rectangles, so you'll see how I make those work with the sketch. And then I'm going to use the following other pieces from this kit. I'm going to use the stencil, of course, for all of this little gear work on the sketch. And then I'm going to use this as, I know it's the packaging for the gears, but I'm going to use this on my layout as part of one of the pattern papers. I have this scrap of white that I'm going to use to map my photos. I've taken 4 sheets out of the 6x8 pad that came in the Essentials Kit. It's this Mr. Fix-It 6x8 pad, and I'm using 4 different sheets of that. I'm probably gonna use this side, this side, this side, and then this is the back of the cover. So I'm gonna use those 4 patterns. And then I've got this little Mr. Fix-It tools, and I'm probably gonna put the drill, possibly, on this layout. I thought that would look cute. I'm probably not gonna put all these other ones. I'll save those for other layouts. Then I took a few pieces of the ephemera out of the ephemera pack that came in the kit. They're mostly gauges and electrical boxes because that coordinates well with my pictures that are construction pictures. Okay, of course I have the rest of these gears, and I'm going to use those, the cogs and gears. And then I'm gonna use this as the background of my layout. It came in the kit. It's called Millie's Garden Basics C, and it's this on the A side and this on the B side, but I am going to be using the A side of this. So from my tools, I am grabbing a circle cutting system because the background of the sketch, as you can see, is a circle. If you don't have a cutting system like this, you could use a plate and trace it. It doesn't have to be a fancy cutting system, but I happen to have it, so I'm going to use it. And I'm using this white piece of paper because this is bringing me to what I'm gonna do on this layout. So I want the background of my layout, of course, to be this gray paper, but I would like, I'm gonna move all the embellishments off to the side because we don't need those right now. But I would like my circle to look like a pie graph, like a pie chart. So, and that's why I picked so many different colors of paper to use. So what I'm gonna do is mat these 3 pictures on white, so I can just go ahead and get that done and have that matted, and then I can really start to work on my layout. Alrighty, so I've got my 3 photos matted, and I'm just gonna set them off to the side. Next, I'm gonna come in here with my circle cutting system, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut, how big do I want this? Let's decide that first. So on my sketch, the circle is showing fairly large, like almost to the top and almost to the bottom, but I'm not sure if I want it that big. So I'm gonna set this on the paper and see. But I don't, this is probably too small because I only have the 3 pictures and embellishments in my title. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this circle be the size of, I'm debating if I want to make a mat my layout. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I am going to cut the branding strip off of this. And I think I would like to mat my entire layout on black paper. I think it will pop. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off about 1/2 inch off of 2 sides of the paper. So now I need to mat this onto black cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the cardstock from my stash. I'm going to gut it so that I can use the middle on another layout, because I like to conserve supplies when I can, and my books are already thick enough as it is with all of the embellishment that I add to my pages that I don't need double thickness of cardstock in there. So I go ahead and gut the middle out of that. So now I can use this on another layout. And then I'm going to adhere that together just like that. Okay, so that's going to be the background. Now, if I put this circle here, see, if I use the outside of this circle, it's just going to get so close to the top. So I think I don't want to do that. I think, of course, what I really want is the size right inside of here. So, and I don't have that option. So I am going to do, I'm going to use the outside of this circle as my guide. So I cut, you know, as close as I can to the template. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna take the circle that I just cut and I'm gonna find the middle. And to do that, I'm gonna fold the circle in half one way and in half the other way. And where those two folds meet, that's the center of my circle. So right there is the center of my circle, and I'm going to put a black dot there so I know what I'm doing. Okay, then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna decide, this is just going to be a template. We're not using this piece on a layout. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna say, I think I want my circle about that, like that, off the page, okay? So then I'm gonna give my circle a trim, and I'm gonna trim it from right here to right here, okay? Because I don't even need my whole circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off from those 2 points. Okay, this is garbage. I don't care about that piece anymore. All right, next, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna decide that my circle is very tall like this. So when I'm gonna go with scissors and I'm just gonna ever so slightly cut just inside of this circle, and I'm doing it by hand. It's not gonna be super straight. I am gonna try to keep it the same distance from the edge all the way around. I'm just slightly trimming like 1/3 inch because my circle template cutter would not cut the size. You know, I didn't have this option. So if you're using a different type of circle cutter, it might have, you know, more size options than the one that I was using. So you might be able to skip this part, or maybe you could just trace something that's exactly the right size, and then you wouldn't have to worry about doing this. Okay, now I feel like my circle is a better size right now. So next I am going to come in, so I remember this is the middle of my layout, And I'm making pie charts, if you remember that I said I was gonna make a pie chart. So I want the first cut to come right here, and I want it to come over to there. And my next cut of my pie chart, I want it to come right there, like that big section. I want another one to be right here. I want a small one up here, and I want another one. I don't want to make them too evenly spaced. I don't want it to look like a clock. I think I'll have another one be right there. So now I'm going to cut this into pieces. And to do that, I'm going to cut from the little dash that I made at the top all the way to the center circle, and then I stop at the circle. The next one, I cut right there and I stop at the circle. The next one, from that line, and I stop at the circle. And you can get the idea what I'm doing. I make the little dashes by hand so I don't forget what I'm doing when I'm here on the trimmer, because if I just tried to do this eyeballing it on the trimmer, I would never get it right. So we'll move this. And now I have templates. Oop. Now I have templates for all of the pieces that I want my pie chart to be, okay? So I'm gonna grab all my, here's my pictures. I'm gonna grab all my paper that I'm making, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different templates. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors, and maybe I can double up and use one twice. I'm fine with that. I do want to decide though which wedge I want to be orange, because that is the smallest piece that I have. And if I've got orange in my pictures and some orange in my embellishments, I'm thinking I want this slice up here to be orange. I think that will balance out well. So the first template that I'm going to cut is this slice. And guys, I'm just going to use the trimmer on the straight edges. And I'm going to use my scissors on the curve, because it doesn't need to be like the most perfect curve ever. Okay, now I'm going to do this with every single shape here. I'm going to kind of line out, I think I want this one down here. Since I've got the dark here, I'm going to put another dark up here. This one will be dark. I want this light one up here, but I think I also want it right here. So that's the piece that I'm going to use 2 sheets of, is that piece. And then this piece is going to be like that. So I will do one more on camera for you. And then after this, I'm going to do the rest off camera, because I know this isn't very exciting. So I've just got this exactly on top. And I'm just gonna cut the straight lines that I can with the trimmer. And then I'll cut the curve with the scissors. And if you don't want to do this, like if this is just like, oh my gosh, this is way too much, like the pies and the shapes and confusing, then by all means, don't do it like this. Like, do what, you could cut this out of a solid sheet of cardstock or a different piece of patterned paper, or you could use a cardstock back and cut your circle out of this background pattern paper, because you know I'm not going to be using that on another layout since I used the whole thing on this layout. So if this is just too much for you, change it up. So I would say if you're going to change it up, maybe use a white paper on the background of your layout and cut the big circle out of this gray sheet that I used as the background. I think that would be a good alternative here. Okay, I'm gonna go cut the rest of this out of this paper and I will be right back. All right, so now I've got all of my little pie chart pieces going, and I would like to get them adhered down, but before I do that, let me just, it's looking good, just like this. Okay, good. Before I adhere them down, I want to do this gear stencil work in the back. So I'm going to grab my gear stencil, get to work. So I'm gonna place it once, probably down here to get these. And then I'm gonna have to move it and place it again, you know, up here to get those up here. So, and then this background paper from Paper Rose, this particular piece, I can't explain it. It's not glossy. It's not waxy, but it has a little bit of a finish, just a little bit of a finish. So I am not certain that the Distress Oxide inks are going to sit nicely on it. I'm gonna test sample it on the back and see and make sure that it dries and doesn't smear. Because I really do want to use my oxide inks. Oh yeah, it's fine. It's working just fine. Okay, so you might want to test sample your ink that you're using on the back side to make sure that you are using an ink that is not going to just sit on top of the page and not soak in. So this ink seems to be doing just fine, and I'm going to use my blending brush here. And I'm just going to put it a little, I'm going very light over my stencil, and then I can fill in some places a little darker, some places can be lighter, just like I did on my last layout. So I'm going to go ahead and do this stencil work down here, and then I'm going to move it and do the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the top, and I'm gonna kind of stay away from this area right here where I've already stenciled part of it. I'm not gonna stencil again over it. So I'm gonna kind of stay away from that area right there when I'm doing this top part, because I don't like the way this stencil looks when it gets overlapped and stenciling on top of the same place. So I'm just gonna kind of go through here, and then pretty soon the circle is like coming way out here, so I don't even have to do this whole section because it's gonna be covered by this circle. So I think I like that, and I will leave it just like that. And let me make sure that this circle is covering what I think it's gonna cover. Okay, the circle is covering nicely what I think it's gonna cover, and I'm gonna use some more Distress Oxide Black Soot, and I'm gonna ink the edges of my circle so that they just pop off the back of the page. And I'm just gonna ink, let's see, I think I'm gonna need, I don't really wanna ink the whole side of each of the slices, but I think I'm gonna have to because it's gonna look funny if just like the pie edge side is inked. Let's see how this looks. I think it's okay with just the edge inked and not down each slice. And then a little on this guy. I'm not sure how well this one is gonna hold that ink because this is packaging and it's shiny and glossy, but we'll try it for now. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and adhere down this pie chart so that it's not moving around, because I know it's gonna go here and I know everything's gonna go on top of it. So I will go off camera, get that down, and I will be right back. So this is the last piece of my little pie chart. I think I'm gonna tuck that orange one underneath. There we go. I think I cut the orange one off a little funny. So, okay, So I've got my pie chart, and now I can place my pictures. And I'm gonna save my little template in case I, ever need to do this again. Now I have a template. And I've got this ephemera. And some of these can kind of take the place of a picture, I think, on here. Especially, so guys, I live next to an Air Force base, and they have been doing flyover after flyover after flyover with the airplanes. I'm sure you can hear it in the video. It's nonstop today. So I keep stopping my video, but like it's every minute or two. So I'm just gonna have airplane noise in the background. Sorry. I'm deciding how to lay these out kind of so it still looks like somewhat like my sketch, even though I've got way different shapes going on here. And this big piece, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be able to use it. Let's see if I move everything over just a bit. Oh, this is looking nicer. I kind of don't like that my pictures are so linear and lined up so much though, like in that diagonal. I'm gonna need to adjust some of this because it just isn't looking balanced to me. So when you're messing and playing with a sketch and you don't have the exact same pictures, you might have to maneuver around your pieces a little to make it still look balanced, even though you're not working with the exact same pieces. I'm still not finding a way that I like, so I think I'm going to disassemble this and this, because I feel like this color right here and this tag is too much of that color next to each other. So I'm gonna switch the places of those two, since you kind of couldn't even see this one anyway, barely at all. You'll see what I mean. Let me get this adhered down and I'll show you. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, I feel like I can get behind this layout and work with it. I know it isn't the same exact configuration as this one, but I think it's gonna work just fine. Let's see, what other little things do we have here? I've got some of these cogs that I wanna lay out here. Let's see how this looks. I don't need any of those for this one. This is one that I tried to color for my last layout, so if I need to use that, I can just color right over it. And then on my sketch here, I've got 3 little embellishment clusters. So 1, 2, and I'll probably put a third one up in this corner up here. Maybe I should use the larger cog up there. This drill, you almost can't see. It kind of blends in the background a lot right here. Maybe I can use it on this side. Again, it's kind of blending. Maybe I'm not going to use the drill on this page, but I do want to use a couple of these guys. Do I need this? Okay, I don't like it with 2, 2, and 2. It looks funny to me how about if I did one, no, I want 2 different sizes down there. And then 1, 2, and 3. There's so much right here though. That makes it really off balance. Well, I don't need all of that down there. Don't need all that weight. Okay, I think I can get behind this. And again, I'm gonna color these cogs, and I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and color them this rose gold color again, like I used in my, on the last layout, because I think that color looks really nice. Yeah, it looks good over there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and color these, and I'm just gonna get a piece of scratch paper, and I'm gonna use my little, I'm going to use my little teeny tiny brush and just go like this. Instead of scraping the paint on and getting it stuck in all these little crevices, I'm doing really lightly dabbing the paint on. So I'm going to go ahead and dab the paint on off of these, and I'll be right back. And now I'm going to go get my cut apart that I have here, because I can add some more embellishments off of here. And I think that I would like to go ahead and cut out a few different shapes. I'm gonna cut out this whole thing that's like pipes. I'm going to cut out this little electrical box. Yeah, well, I'm gonna start with those 2. And I will go off camera and fussy cut those out, and then I will see what else I wanna use when I get back. Okay guys, I cut this one out, but I really do wanna cut that white center out of there. I think it will look nicer because it's so stark white and it really shows up on the background paper. So I'm just gonna use an X-Acto knife in there to cut that center part out. All right, so I've got a couple little pieces here, and I might need to cut some more. Let's just see how this is going. I wonder how this will look. Coming out from behind. Oh, I don't have anything adhered down because I don't know what I'm gonna overlap and underlap here. Why? Okay, that looks pretty nice. I might scooch it down a little so I can overlap the cogs over it, and then it looks like integral to this whole design right here. Let's see, maybe there's some other kind of little thing that I could put up in here. How about, I need it to either be smaller or bigger than this, not like the exact same size as that, I think. You know, I'm gonna try to cut out this little gauge and see how it looks. It might just look not, like, it might look off because it's a circle and it's basically the same exact size, but let's see how it looks. That's the only way for me to tell sometimes how things look, is just to try it. Oh, that's not bad at all. And it brings some white up there. Okay, kind of like that. And then down here, I wonder how this other little gauge will look. So we'll just try that. And I'm not concerned at all about cutting out things that I don't use, because, you know, I'll use them on the next layout or the next layout after that. And I'm not using the B side of that paper. I'm not planning on using the B side. Like, I'm planning on just using it to fussy cut. Let's see, how would this work in here? Like that, or up in there like that. Oh, I kind of like it hanging out of there. Because when I had it down here, like this, it looked too similar to this, because, you know, that is what that is. So I think I kind of like it sticking out of there. I'm gonna cut one more, this one, and I'm gonna try it instead. So let me just pull that out and put this in. I like that. I'm gonna save this for another layout because I think I like the shape of that. And then is there maybe one more piece? Let's see. I'm gonna cut this, I'm gonna cut this pipe out. And I'm gonna see if I can add that just to bring this into it a little more, because my pictures are just, I know they're not pipes, but it's a track for the roller coaster, and it just looks very similar to this pipe. So let's see how this looks. Okay, so I've got this cut out. It looks kind of cool in here. Let's see. At an angle. No, I don't like it at an angle like that. But that looks neat. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. And, oh, I wanted to say too, when I create my sketches, a lot of times I'll use stars for the shape, because it's just a generic, like, embellishment shape. That doesn't mean that it needs to actually be stars on the layout, you know. I just use it because it's a generic masculine shape, you know, not a floral flower. Like if I was designing sketches for a kit club that was all about girls and girly things, then I would probably use flowers instead of stars. But that also doesn't mean that I always think a flower should go there. The stars are just a nice generic shape that I like to use when I'm making my sketches. So don't feel like you need to put stars when you're following the sketch. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to adhere down from the furthest back to the front. So the items that are in the back go first. So I'm gonna go off camera and continue adhering all of this down. I'm not gonna adhere the cogs yet, but I'm gonna adhere the paper layers and the embellishment layers. All right, here we are with everything's adhered down except for these cogs. So I'm going to just use Eileen's tacky glue to adhere these cogs. I like to just put the glue on the back of my hand so it's not super goopy all over my page. Next, I need to add my title, which I want to title this Inside Space Mountain, because it is inside of Space Mountain. And I kind of want to say a rare glimpse inside of Space Mountain. That's really long. But that's really what I want to title it, A Rare Glimpse Inside of Space Mountain. So I'm going to use my alphabet stickers to spell out Space Mountain. I'm going to use stamps to make a little tab that says a rare glimpse in, or a rare glimpse inside of, yeah. I'm going to use stamps to say that, and then space, and I'm gonna have to make a tag to do this because I can't stamp on what I've got here. It's not gonna show up. So first I'm going to get all my letters on my little rulers so I can move them around and decide where I want this title to be. So I'm gonna put the word space on one and mountain on the other one, and I will be right back when I have that and I have my stamps with a plan for my title. Okay, not sure how I'm working this title here, but I have Space Mountain here and a rare glimpse inside stamped with just little alphabet stamps that I had. I don't even know where these are from. These are probably 10 years old or more. So I'm sorry that I don't know where that mini alphabet is from, but maybe you have a mini alphabet stamp. So I'm not sure where I want to put this. I'm going to go ahead and cut this apart, so at least I'm working with strips. Okay, and I don't even know for sure if I want to keep these on these papers or if I want to stamp right onto the background of my layout. Now Space Mountain doesn't really show up very good down there, but I could put a thin strip of white paper behind it, behind each word. Let's see. Let's just play here for a second. Nope, I'm not liking that. Nope, nope, nope. And I can even overlap my title here. And I wasn't planning on actually using, I was just stamping a practice one. So I didn't even really stamp super straight, but I think it's fine. And then I'm gonna go ahead and adhere it down. I'm thinking this is pretty good. So I'm gonna go adhere this down and adhere my alphabet, my word Space Mountain down, and I will be right back. Okay, so there is my title. And I think I'm going to grab just a couple of the little finishing touch pearls. That's sequins. I don't want to use the sequins right now because I want it to kind of pop out. I'm trying to get the copper colored pearls. And of course, I'm going to grab every other color besides the one that I want. Aha, here are the copper ones at the bottom, because I think I need a little more color in here than those. And I'm just going to put a couple of these around where I want them to sit. And then I will adhere them down. And again, I like them not too close to one another, kind of sprawled out like that. So I'm gonna finish this up, and that is gonna wrap up this layout. I hope that you were inspired by this layout to start using your Powerhouse kit, or any other supplies that you might be working with, following along here. Because like I have said before, you can follow along with these videos where I'm working my way through a kit, even using supplies that you already might have in your stash. So, let's see, I don't like this one up there. It was just too far away from those. I think I like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and adhere these down. If you wanna share anything that you have created using this video or this sketch as an inspiration, we would love to see it on our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community Facebook group. And I will link that as well as all the supplies I used and the tools I used in the description of this video. I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to link the alphabet stamp because, like I said, that stamp set might be 10 years old. I have no idea where it's from. I want to say close to my heart, but I could be totally wrong. I take all my stamps out of their original packaging when I buy them, and I store them in plastic sleeves. So I cannot tell where they're from unless I just remember where they're from. But other than that, everything will be linked in the description of this video. And let me move this out of the way. Let me get this sketch down here so you can see how the sketch turned into the layout. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.